for the 3rd straight summer. Bit of a wild card, though, new format.
Yeah, this new format is going to give the girls and the riders in general more runs. So it's going to be able to showcase their skills even more than before, and it's sure to be an awesome show.
Yeah, no doubt. A closer look at the format here today. We've got 2 heats of 6 skaters, 18-minute jam session per, 40-second runs. The scoring, overall impression, and then the top 3 from each heat will be advancing to a final, as well as spots to X Games Minneapolis. So we've talked about the format. How about the competitors? Who should we have our eyes on here today?
You know what? Indiara from Brazil just came off a big win at Van Skatepark Series in Brazil, and so I bet she's hungry for another win. And Misugu,
yes, she is killing it on this course.
Japanese, 13 years old, blasting high over people's heads, doing tricks that no one else is doing. It's going to be amazing to see.
Well, before we set it off, let's send it down to the 3rd member of our team, Craig McMorris.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks, Liz. As you can see, I am courtside like Drake at a Toronto Raptors game. So being that close to the action, you pick up a couple scoops. One of my favorite scoops I've picked up. What about Kokona Hiraki in Heat 2? She's only 10 years old. If she can punch her ticket to Minneapolis, she will drop in as the youngest competitor in X Games history, edging out Jagger Eaton, who competed at 11 years, 4 months. So she would break that record. That's a story you want to keep an eye on, guys. Back to you.
Yes, thank you, Craig. I knew he was going to get a Drizzy reference in here on the broadcast today. A big Raptors fan, Craig McMorris, but today it's all about the ladies of Skateboard Park. There is a beautiful look at Rhodes Skate Park. As we said, this is our 3rd consecutive year of doing this event out here. Let's take a look now at our roster for today.
All right, Boise, Idaho, are you ready to meet your top 12 skaters from yesterday? Well, with no further ado, in Heat 1, coming out of Encinitas, California, put your hands together for Bryce Wetstein. And next up, from Japan, let's hear it for Mami Tezuka. And up next, coming out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, hands together for Dora Barea. And from the island of Oahu, Mililani to be exact, let's hear it for Cody Tamanaha. And next up, coming out of Brazil, let's hear it for Indiara Asp. And your final skater for Heat 1, coming out of Japan, Kihana Ogawa. And your Heat 2 skaters, coming out of Petaluma, California, Minna Stess. And your next skater coming out of Japan, Kisa Nakamura. And your next competitor coming out of Cocoa Beach, Florida, Grace Marhofer. And coming out of Japan, our youngest competitor, let's hear it for Kokana Haraki. And coming out of Newcastle, Australia, Poppy Star Olson. And your final competitor from Heat 2 and your top qualifier from yesterday, coming out of Japan, Sugu Okamoto. Yeah. And one more time, hands together for all the women about to throw down out here.
What a lineup out here today. Here is our start list for Heat number 1. And some really nice names that we've seen here summer after summer, as well as some X Games rookies, Lindsay.
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome contest to watch. The progression from last year to this year has been an awesome surprise to show up to this event and just see how every girl has progressed and how there's new faces out here.
Right. I look at names like Minna Stess and Poppy Star Olson, ladies who have ridden this course the previous 2 summers. you feel like they have to have somewhat of a leg up because of the experience on this course.
Yeah, I agree. You know, a lot of them come out and they spend a whole week or even 2 weeks out here, and so those girls have definitely a leg up on the rest of the girls who are new this year because they're really familiar with the course and they're familiar with the progression of themselves and be able to apply it to the course.
So kicking things off, 15-year-old out of Encinitas, California, Bryce Wettstein. Bryce still searching for that first ever X Games Minneapolis invite. Does it happen here today?
It definitely might. She's been skating more powerful and more technical than ever. Last year she was an alternate, so we hope to see her in the big show this time.
Bryce also a terrific surfer. It's kind of mandatory when you live in Encinitas.
Oh, that no. That 50-50 through the corner to fakie is something that not a lot of girls do, so it's a little more risky.
So we move on. Mami Tezuka, 17 years old, out of Japan. Had a nice 4th place finish just a couple of weeks ago at Dew Tour. Right now, she's trying to make her X Games debut.
You gotta take a look at her back foot when she does that Smith through the corner. It's so stylish, so bent over, it's amazing. Big old backside air.
Mami, of course, part of the strong Japanese contingency out here today at Rhodes Skate Park. It just seems like the Japanese influence on this event gets greater and greater each year, Lindsay.
It definitely does. I think 5 of our 6 qualifiers from today, of the top 6 qualifiers from today are Japanese.
So let's take another look at her first run, Lindsay.
Getting the upside down on that invert.
Dora Barea, out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, 17 years old, 2-time Brazilian national champion, trying to make her mark on the X Games stage for the first time.
One of 2 of our Brazilians in today's semi-qualifiers.
Dora just went pro, literally, weeks ago for Hosoi Skateboards.
It's so rad to see so much support right now for the women in signature boards, pro shoes, all kinds of stuff.
She's had great success on the Vans Park Series. Finished 11th in our Boise Park qualifier 2 years ago.
Nice frontside rock after the buzzer there. Backside disaster revert, getting technical in the smaller section there. It was really good that she stayed on her whole run. That's gonna be one of the factors in the overall impression here today.
Cody Tamanaha, out of Hawaii, 15 years old.
She skates with a lot of power and grace for such a young skater.
And she's friends with Hunter Long and Hamana Reynolds, fellow Hawaiians. Do you see any of those influence in her skating?
Yeah, I definitely think she has some good surfy style too, and just good style in general.
So Cody's first run in the books. We're closing in on the 14-minute mark of our 18-minute jam. 3 skaters from this heat will be moving on to the final and also getting spots to X Games Minneapolis. Indiara Asp.
Yeah, Angie is she's just so hesh. She just skates with power, and I love it. I love watching her skate and seeing the creativity that she has, and which is another factor in overall impression. You know, if you're being creative with the course and using the course differently than everyone else, you're gonna get more points for that.
Ingie made her X Games debut last summer, just missed the podium, a 4th place finish at US Bank Stadium. We'll see, she is from Brazil. She did recently move to California. Obviously being able to skate more with a lot of these ladies, we'll see if that influences how things go. But here's Ogawa Kinaha out of Japan.
Oh. So I've been told and seen that wall there is a little bit wavy. So when you're on a skateboard, it's kind of hard. Like those grinds are a little tougher than you would think on that flat wall because the coping is tougher than if it was done perfectly. But that's what skating's all about. It's not all perfect. You got to adapt.
Isn't that the truth? And just like that, we reset. Bryce Wedstein dropping in for her second run.
I love that popping up into that feeble there. Lots of combos. Just such technical style, you know? She just adds a lot more to each trick.
She finished 5th in this contest last summer. Right now, she's just trying to get a top 3 spot. A nice finish, Lindsay.
Nice backside air.
Now remember, for those watching at home, as we said, this jam format is brand new. These skaters are used to seeing their score after each run, having a feel for the leaderboard. All of that gets thrown out the window with this format. The ladies literally have no idea, as neither do we, on the scoring at this point.
Right, they just have to skate and keep powering through their heat. Something you can see with the lighting change in the cameras here, that we're under a bridge. So some of the course is shaded and some of the course is sunny.
Right.
So that transition in and out of the sun can be pretty tough to adjust with your eyes when you're skating. So take note of that as you see them go in and out of the sun and the shade.
Here's Dora Barea's second run.
Oh, nice 50-50 to fakie. Sliding that lean tail slide. Having a powerful run here. Styly air, that's something that the judges look for too, is your style, and if you're tweaking your airs or if you're just doing a really standard plain trick.
Dora, one of the 5 teenagers in this heat. Inji Asp is our oldest rider in this heat at 21 years old.
Oh, look at that tweak,
that
touching
is
her
so
knee
stylish.
almost to the grip tape.
Cody Tamanaha, 15 years old, as we're closing in on the 10-minute mark here in our first heat jam.
Oh my gosh, that feeble to fakie was beautiful. There's that transition into the sun I was talking about. Nice big frontside air. Oh, that lip slide. See, she slid it instead of just stopping, and that's going to get her a lot more points. Just like that lip slide through the corner, you know. Sorry, not more points, but it's going to make a bigger impression on
No, she's putting her exclamation point on it as we take another look. Cody, again, for making her debut here at Rhodes Skatepark, she looks awfully comfortable on this course. There's Inji Asp.
Oh, man. See, there's that creativity I talked about before. She just has a much different style and creativeness about her that really makes an impression on the judges for this overall impression.
Inji coming in with some real momentum. Won the Vans Park Series in Sao Paulo just a weekend ago.
Nice stand-up 5-0 through the corner. It's hard to tell, but there's actually a love seat under that corner. So you literally have to get through the whole corner, otherwise you fall onto a ledge. Under her, you can't even tell, but there's a There's a love seat under there. It's crazy.
Ogawa Kinaha.
One thing I've really enjoyed about being at this event is seeing just how much fun everybody's having together.
Yeah, we say it year in, year out about the camaraderie amongst the ladies, not only in street, but obviously in park. And it's cool to see a lot of new names in the mix. But it becomes familiar territory. That was so rad.
Oh, that was beautiful. That frontside kickflip from another angle. You know, she's really upping the risk factor there with flipping her board and taking the risk of it possibly not flipping all around or not landing back on it.
Third run time here as we're closing in on 7 minutes. Bryce Wettstein.
I love how she airs from the one wall into the feeble there on the bank. Lean to tail. It's so scary because you fly up in the air and then you have to smack back on your tail.
And still just 15 years old, and at 5'8", she's actually the tallest rider in this heat.
I know, you really forget how young she is because she's been around for a while now and she's so tall and composed that you just don't even realize she's a young teenager. Nice backside lip.
And
reverting
Lindsay,
out, just adding more and more.
It looks to me, you just said it, I felt like from run 3 to run 1, you're seeing the confidence build up for Bryce. And there's a look at our leaderboard right now. Kihana leading the way, Cody right behind her, and Bryce Wettstein. I'm assuming that last run really helped her get into the top 3. Now that's not official yet. There's still some riding to be done, but that's a live look at what the judges' initial thoughts are thus far.
Mami's having a little trouble in this heat, but her style is really, really good, and that's going to play a part in this overall impression.
Dora Barea. Can she knock on that top 3 door? Remember, it's not about just getting into the final. The top 3 from this heat will be getting spots to X Games Minneapolis.
That's ultimately the goal here today for all these girls. X Games is, you know, it's up on the highest pedestal. You grow up dreaming to skate at X Games, the real X Games.
Do you remember that first X Games invite, Lindsay, for you?
Yeah, I do. It was the first year that they had women skating, and it was such a big deal for us. Oh my gosh, that was sick. Beautiful Smith through the corner there. There's that love seat I was talking about, that if you fall on it, I mean, it's definitely a risky corner.
Cody Tamanaha, she's currently in that top 3, as you said. Will she stay there? And can she give herself some breathing room with the judges on this run right here?
Oh my gosh, that lip slide through the corner is so rad. Nice frontside air, tucking her knee, adding to the style, adding another lip slide. She's doing a good job at sliding all of her tricks and just adding a little more to each thing.
And there you see some shaking up in the top 3. Bryce Wettstein moving up into number 2 as we're under 4 minutes here in heat number 1. You know, I talked about this heat, 5 of 6 are teenagers. The next heat, all are teenagers. That means 11 of our 12 out here today are teenagers or younger.
Or younger, yeah.
When
we
you
have
include
one
a 10-year-old.
non-teen in the next heat.
Inji is the only exception at 21 years old. Can you imagine? At 21, she is the oldest in the entire field.
There's that creativity going up onto that ledge and coming off. It's always a treat to watch Inji skate and see what she's gonna come up with. She's really mixing up her runs, which is important. That's another factor in the overall impression. Can you mix up every run or add to every run?
Well, right now she's trying to knock on the door of the top 3. Inji, of course, mentored by Pedro Barros, who knows a thing or two about skating park at X Games, but she's trying to get to X Games Minneapolis. Right now, if you're Kiana Ogawa dropping in, you've got to feel really good. She's currently in first place. So looking at the timing, Lindsay, she'll finish up this run in about 21 seconds. So each of the skaters should, in theory, get one more run each.
Oh, doing that frontside kickflip again. She's been showing a lot of diversity in her runs as far as changing them, but the tricks that she has been doing in each run are exceptional. Oh! There's that frontside kickflip again. It was higher, it was better this time. A little sketchy, but showing that she can hang on to it is important too.
So Bryce checking in on the time, making sure that she'll get one more in, and she will, dropping in for her final run here in heat number 1.
Coming in backwards. Oh man. I like that Bryce was switching it up. Coming in backwards like that makes it a lot more difficult to do your next trick, you know, starting backwards, essentially.
Mami Tezuka, who has really skated this course well all week, is trying to jump up into that top 3. For Mami.
She had a lot of falls, I think, in her.
Right.
And so that's tough for her, even though she's been skating this course so well over the past week and through qualifying yesterday. In the end, you really do need to stay on your board.
We turn our attention to Dora Barea.
Invert in the deep end there. There's that sun to shade transition that's so tough. In the middle of the deep end there, you can see it too. Oh, big, styly backside air. Taking more risk there with boosting that higher.
So we'll take another look. The clock has expired, but each of the skaters will get their final runs in here to see if they will move on to the final and get that spot to X Games Minneapolis. There's a look at the leaderboard. The top 3, Cody Tamahana is currently in that list. Can Cody cement herself in that top 3?
She's definitely showing more height than some of the other girls. So that's going to play a factor in how the judges feel about her skating in this heat. Oh, to fakie. So when we say to fakie, oh, that means that she's going backwards. Oh man, so she came up, switched her body around, leaving the board, and then so that her board would be backwards and she could go up and switch her board around without her body guard.
What?
Taking risk. That's a part of it.
So here's Inji Asp. There you look at 4, 5, 6. So she's currently on the bubble right now. Of course, she doesn't know that with no physical leaderboard out on the course. So she's got to go for broke right now, Lindsay.
Oh, no. Oh. It's always so sad to see. I just hold my breath and I want everybody to make their run.
Tough one for Inji. So Kiana Ogawa, you saw just a little bit ago, she was on top of the leaderboard. Is that where she will stay? Will she get back to X Games Minneapolis, a place she hasn't been since 2017?
Tweaking that air, showing that she's got style. There's that frontside kickflip again, and she's the only one in this heat flipping her board.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you that.
Yeah.
And the judges obviously taking notice of that.
Definitely. You know, it's difficulty, it's progression, risk factor.
Right.
A lot of the factors in this overall impression judging format are in that one trick alone.
Really good point. So heat 1 officially complete. Who will be our top 3 earning spots to X Games Minneapolis? Again, if you're just joining us, that was heat 1 of 2. We still have an entire second heat of 6 skaters left to drop in, but let's look at some of the highlights from our first heat, Lindsay.
Lip slide into the corner. Backside disaster, revert, but frontside kickflip, big old tuck knee frontside air, tweaking out that backside air. Inji getting creative.
And again, from heat number 1, only half of that field had experience here at Rhodes Skate Park competing in this road to X Games qualifier. A lot of rookies on this stage. Let's head down to our PA announcer, DC, with our announcements.
Leaderboard from that first heat, so we'll give you your top 3. In third place from Hawaii, Cody Tamanaha. Cody, we'll see you in Minneapolis. In second place from Encinitas, Bryce Wetstein. And your top qualifier here from Heat 1 from Japan, Kihana Ogawa. So there you have it, your 3-2-1, Cody Tamanaha, Bryce Wetstein, and Kihana Ogawa.
What a showing from heat number 1. I think Bryce Wetstein's face said it all. What a moment for her. We've seen her out here at the park qualifier. She was an alternate last year, and now she's got a spot. Let's head down to Craig McMorris.
We got Waterworks, folks. We got Waterworks. Tell us about that. Just the last 5 minutes.
I'm speechless because like it's been my dream like my whole life. So it's like crazy for me. Oh my God.
So it was your dream your whole life. You've achieved your dream. You're going to the X Games. Are we going to achieve another dream there?
Hopefully. I just can't believe I'm like skating in the X Games. That's crazy. Oh my God, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. You punched your ticket to the X Games. We're excited to see you there. Brandon, Lynn's back up to you guys.
Yeah, wow, what a moment for Bryce Wetstein. As you said, still just 15 years young, but she's been in the game for so long. We take for granted how young she is. And for this moment, not to be an alternate, but to get to the big show because she earned it, that's extraordinary.
It is, and yeah, it's emotional, you know? She's worked so hard. She's worked probably 2/3, if not more, of her life for this moment.
As she said, she's dreamt her whole life of being able to skate at the X Games. Well, Bryce, you can knock that off of your bucket list because you're coming to Minneapolis. Well, let's look back at how Bryce Wetstein got there. And we said it, Lindsay, the first run, maybe there was a little bit of jitters, but she seemed to get better as the contest went on.
Yep, she got better every one. She's got good diverse tricks. She did an air, she's doing grinds, she's doing reverts, she's doing lean details. You know, she's using the course. She's doing all the things that create this overall impression and put her into that spot to Minneapolis and on to our final today.
So Bryce Wettstein gets in. She's of course joined by Kiana Ogawa and Cody Tamanaha.
There's Bryce's little sister in the back, Summer. She's always super supportive. She has such a great family behind her, coming to all the events.
Yeah, Bryce will be starting 10th grade in the fall. But before that, she'll have a story to tell. What'd you do this summer, Bryce? Earned a spot to my first ever X Games. No big deal.
I think she'll actually skate X Games before she gets back in school.
That's what I'm saying. She'll come to school and just say, hey, here's what's up. Maybe you saw me on TV. So world-class skating on display for the fans here at downtown Boise, Idaho. What a wonderful host city this has been. Again, year number 3 for this Road to X Games qualifier here at Rhodes Skatepark, and the crowds seem to get bigger every single year. So heat 1 in the books. How about our second heat of 6 skaters? There you see, headlined by Poppy Star Olson, Sugu Okamoto, and Ministes, a young lady that I'm really excited about. We saw her skate this contest when she was just 11 years old a couple of summers ago, and we saw the potential. And watching her out earlier today in practice and all week long earning her spot, she absolutely belongs on this list.
Absolutely. She had 2 years ago, she was an alternate, but she's grown at least a foot since then, and you can really see that in her skating. It's a lot more powerful. Her tricks are getting higher and better, and she's just progressed tremendously in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I was actually having a conversation with her parents yesterday. Her official bio has it at 5'2", but she may be 5'1.5", and there was a little bit of argument over who was selling the 5'2", but we'll go with 5'2" for Minna. But she's grown a lot, still just 13 years old. And we also have to recognize Kisa Nakamura. We've got an X Games gold medalist in this heat.
We do. We totally do. She showed up to X Games
Austin back in 2016.
And she won 2 weeks after her 16th birthday. That contest and that win, that X Games gold medal, really made her a superstar in Japan.
Yeah, it really did. So let's get right down to it. Heat number 2 kicks off with the Petaluma native, Ministes.
Boosting that backside air with that extra height of her body, helping her go higher, tucking her knee on that frontside air over the hip there. Getting inverted, one of her favorite tricks, doing inverts.
She has just such rad style. Her brother skates as well.
I love that air up to board side to fake that she does. That's really cool. Doing the gay twist, starting backwards, spinning around 360.
What a clean opening run for Minna. She's just a year removed from a broken and dislocated right elbow, which really sidelined her for most of the contest season last year.
Yeah, she had a few surgeries for that. It was a long recovery for her.
So here's Kisa Nakamura, who won gold in her X Games debut back in 2016. We saw her in Minneapolis back in 2017 where she took 5th place. Now she's trying to get back there.
That boneless is rad. So the wall that she started on was further back than the wall that she ends up on. So she really has to boost into that. Getting creative with that frontside 50-50 stall on that ledge that's set back. Oh, wow. That was super rad. 360s, starting forward, landing backwards, then doing a switch axle stall. Super solid 360 over the hip there. And that switch axle stall, it's so hard. Imagine doing any normal thing you do, but then walk backwards. That's pretty much what it is.
Grace Maherhofer out of Cocoa Beach, Florida, 16 years old. Born in Russia, but holds dual citizenship. Making her debut here in Boise.
Nice invert. She's got a powerful way about her, and it's really fun to watch.
I have to correct myself. We actually did see her out last year. She finished 6th place, which didn't get her in, but she did qualify as an alternate the year before at X Games Minneapolis. Right now, she's just trying to earn an actual spot.
Yeah, like Bryce, she's been here on the toes of everybody, ready to break through to the main event. Fall after time.
Closing in on 15 minutes here in heat number 2.
Here's our littlest, youngest competitor out
Kokono Hiraki, Japanese rider, 4'7", and you see that right, 10 years old. If she qualifies, Lindsay, she'll be the youngest ever X Games competitor. She'll still be 10 when X Games Minneapolis kicks off. I should say the youngest female competitor.
But our youngest girl competitor who holds the record was Bryce, 13 in one day. So she'll, flipping her board. The first kickflip in this heat. Nice backside kickflip over the hip. There it is, big one. Good style, taking risk.
So we move on to Poppy Star Olson, our lone Aussie in the field. She does have an X Games medal, a bronze she earned back in 2017.
She's really progressed in the past few years, just getting way more powerful and confident in her tricks, making them all just more and more style.
And Lindsay, off the board, you talk to her, she's so thoughtful and she has so many different interests. She gave a TED Talk when she, a TEDx talk when she was just 14 years old.
She's a super great artist as well. Staying on her whole run. That big mute air. Crossing through the big blinding sun patch.
Poppy has not missed an X Games Park event since she made her debut in 2016, trying to earn another spot here in 2019. Sugu Okamoto. If you've never watched this young lady skate, you are in for a treat. This 13-year-old absolutely charges the course, Lindsay.
She's next level, and it's such a treat to watch. Huge backside air. I mean, did you see that cameraman? She was up in his face. That's how high she was. And like the kickflip, she does that varial where your board is not flipping, but it is spinning, and that's a big risk factor.
She literally became a teenager 1 week ago.
Oh, those nose grinds.
Just even her flowing up and down the wall to set things up looks so comfortable and in control.
There's that varial, spinning the board around. You know, I think she actually starts her run with her board backwards. So she's riding that whole start of her run with it backwards. And it definitely freaks me out to ride my board backwards, but clearly she's got it handled.
So here's Ministes on her second run. Now she had a really nice opening attempt, Lindsay. I'll be curious to see how she shakes things up here.
She's getting creative and more and changing up her line, which is important. Very That's my favorite thing that she does on this course, I think. Going backwards, spinning around 360. Oh,
Yes.
kickflip Indy. Yeah.
Make them remember you. Minnestes does that at the very end of her second run.
I know she just learned that, and she was really excited to put it in her contest runs.
So we turn our attention to Kisa Nakamura for her second run.
Big backside air, one of the biggest ones in the contest today for the girls.
Again, the top 3 from this heat will be moving on to face off against Bryce Wettstein, Cody Tamanaha, and Kiana Ogawa in the final, as well as get a spot to X Games Minneapolis.
Traeger, it's Ray, right next to Bob, in the yellow shirt.
So here's Grace Marhofer. Be really interesting as we're closing in on the halfway mark, Lindsay, how the judges are scoring this, because we're seeing such variation skater to skater out here in Heat 2.
Yeah, everybody's style of skating and the tricks they're doing and their use of the course, everything's so different and diverse. It's got to be a tough call. Oh, I love how Grace stands up those 5-0s. Just so powerful. Lean disaster. That was a good, solid run for her.
Grace loves surfing. She also competes in track back in high school at Cocoa Beach. Very well-rounded young athlete. Speaking of young, there's our 10-year-old.
There's our youngin'.
The youngest competitor in our field today. Kokona Hiraki.
I think we're gonna have 2 kids under, if she makes it, I think there'll be 2 kids under the teenage age. Guy is gonna be skating vert and men's vert.
Right.
You call it men's vert, but he's just a boy.
Yeah,
just like this is women's park, but she's just a little girl.
Oh.
You can tell she's disappointed there, but I believe she'll come back and show us what she's got. There's that lip slide. I love that the girls are all really using that well, that airing from the quarter pipe into that steep bank.
So here's Poppy Star Olson.
Huge alley-oop over the hip there. So alley-oop is when you basically spin the opposite way. So your body's traveling one way, but then you spin the other way, which is a lot harder than just going the way that your body wants to go. There's a 50-50 to fakie. Another thing, we keep saying the word fakie, but basically that just means backwards. So she took that into a fakie 360, starting backwards, landing forward. Oh, doing a varial over the hip. Yeah! You can tell that's one that she's maybe been practicing and hasn't done.
In case you didn't think it or see it or know it, easily the trick of the contest, Lindsay.
Big varial over the hip there, just like the Sugu does it on another spot of the course. But
what a banger.
Such a rad trick.
To finish the run for Poppy. So what does Sugu Okamoto do for an encore after setting this course ablaze on her first run?
That is a McTwist 540. She's one of a handful of girls in the world who have even done that or do that.
Yeah, I'm in the presence of one of them.
There's that varial I was talking about. Every trick that she does, it excites me. It's so exciting to watch. She tweaks everything, she pushes everything higher. She has so much power, which a lot of young skaters take a while to find that kind of power.
And what an advantage for her too, Lindsay, just like yourself, especially with that trick, given her vert background. She's a very strong vert skateboarder.
Right, there's that McTwist.
Absolutely textbook.
Gorgeous. I love to see the progression. That's going to be a huge factor.
So here's Minnestes, who had a great first run and perhaps an even better second. What can she do for number 3?
Oh. Mixing it up.
She is getting the strategy here, Lindsay, shaking things up, adding new tricks each run. That's exactly what the judges are looking for.
Nice nose blunt, getting a little technical on the smaller section there. Oh, falling on that, my favorite thing she does. Kick flip, foot plant. That's amazing. Or I guess it's a kick flip boneless.
And if any of our judges are big mini ramp skateboarding enthusiasts, that trick will bring a smile to their face.
Yes. Oh, dear.
Oh, and Kisa goes down early on that run. And our leaderboard, temporarily at least, is popping up for the first time. And there you see Misugu, Poppy Star Olson, and Kokono Haraki. Will it stay that way? Grace Marhofer, can she get in the mix?
At this point, all of these girls are capable, so it's just exciting to see what they have for the rest of their rounds. Oh, taking her back foot off there, and a one-footed mute over the hip. Getting so high on that vert wall. One upside down on her invert. Layback air. That's what that one's called. Oh, that was awesome. Up in the wrist factor. You see she hops through like a jump rope and hopscotch in one.
That was Grace's best run for sure of the day. Kokona. She's currently in that top 3 spot, which would earn her an invite to X Games Minneapolis.
Oh, that frontside disaster. It's so scary to fly out like that and then land back on your board and not hang your wheels up on the way in.
And she is absolutely charging. And already, and again.
That wall, like I said, is a bit wobbly, and so it's hard, you know, each tile of pool coping is different. So it could be that she had been coming up on a different one before, and then the next one is set in a little more, and it just doesn't set her up right.
So here's Poppy Star Olson sitting in second place.
Big tweaked back there. I just love, she's such a powerhouse. Bringing speed, style, and height into everything she's doing. Sliding her lip slide. Taking her foot off. Huge. I love it. So tweaked, so stylish.
So Poppy Star Olson has to feel really good about where she's at right now. The same can be said for Misugu. And it's crazy. This is a qualifier, Lindsay. But we are really seeing this contest, this event, this style of skateboarding evolve right in front of our eyes. I mean, Look at Misugu, 13 years old. This is the first time we're seeing her out here on the X Games stage.
There's that Varial.
And she looks like she can contend with Brighton Zoyner for a gold medal in Minneapolis.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see that matchup. Oh, that nose grind is so sick.
So each of the skaters will get one more attempt.
The way that she does that nose grind and she locks in and she's over the coping and then she's able to pop back in. Obviously she didn't land that one, but it's something that not a lot of girls do and that even the men respect because it's so gnarly and awesome.
So there's a look at our standings right now. Ministes has to make some noise if she wants to get into that top 3.
And she is. She's boosting higher than all the rest of her runs. She's adding, you know, just a little more to each trick.
Right, which is all you can ask for.
Yeah, and that's what the judges want to see. She has stuck with the same line and not switched it up too much, but she's pushing each trick and progressing, so that makes a difference.
Well, she's been 2 for 2. Clean full pulls on each run. How does she end?
Oh.
Well, a really good showing from Ministes. We'll see what the judges think of it, but a really good day for her. We move on to Kisa Nakamura. She's on the outside looking in right now. This is her last chance to jump up into the top 3.
Hanging on to that big ol' air. And you can hear the sound of the tiles as she skates over it. Oh no, going into that nose blunt, which is really a tough trick, especially on that bank because there's no coping to hold the board there. Just getting away from her.
Kisa Nakamura, of course, a former gold medalist in this event, just trying to get to Minneapolis. The same can be said for Grace Marhofer, who needs a big one here right now, Lindsay.
She's been super creative in using the course. Even the way she started her run was creative, starting on that bank and tail dropping all the way across and in. Oh, getting that eggplant. So eggplant's different from a normal invert because you grab with your backhand and you have to go upside down, then land on your front hand, and then come in and not catch on your front hand. It's really tough.
There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in the eggplant. Super fun though.
So that will do it for Grace's run here in heat number 2. Kokona Hiraki, 10 years old. She really put it together on her first run. She's had issues her last 2. Can she stick it here on her final one? There you see she's holding on to that 3rd and final spot that would get her into X Games Mini.
And she actually, these last 3, her included, are the top 3. So I believe, but I can't say for sure, that the 3 of them will be safe. Oh, there's that.
Everyone here at Rhodes Skate Park wanted her to get that one, but as you said, if the standings hold, and obviously the next 2 skaters after her are Misugu and Poppy, who are ahead of her in the standings, she could breathe an air of relief, but we just don't know. Judges scoring things in real time, how it gets shaken up. Here's Poppy Star Olson, a bronze medal back in 2017, and she's got to like her chances returning to Minneapolis.
Even just right there in that corner, so she was doing 50-50s now, 5-0. Just stepping each wall up just a little bit.
Sean! Sean!
50-50 to fakie, coming in backwards.
Sewer!
Old backside ollie Pop-Tart on that big deepest wall there.
And that will do it for Poppy Star Olson. Will she be skating in the final? looks that way.
No, next to him.
And wrapping up heat number 2. She really was the leader from her first run and hasn't looked back. Of course, nothing official yet, but
Get Ray.
Sugu Okamoto.
Get Ray over there.
It's just so amazing how powerful she is and how well she's able to use the strength and the course to her advantage. Because, I mean, she's not even 80 pounds, but she's boosting higher than anyone else. So her technique and how she pumps is just incredible.
4'7", 79 pounds. Sugu Okamoto. It's just amazing. I mean, the way she's able to keep up her speed at that size, obviously not her best run of the day, but I think we're assured that she's got a spot at X Games Minneapolis and will be skating in this final, given what the leaderboard we saw a little bit ago and just from passing the eye test for you and I.
Right, totally.
So let's look back at some highlights from heat number 2.
There's that kickflip indie by Minna, board varial, and Sugu. Lip slide by our little youngin. That McTwist, oh, it's beautiful. There's that nose grind. Oh. And Poppy doing the varial, surprising yourself.
Yeah, what a moment for Poppy Star Olson. And it's crazy at 19 years old. I mean, she really is a veteran here. Let's go down to our PA announcer, DC, to find out who's moving on to the final.
All right, and we have our official top 6. But I'm going to go ahead and give you our top 3 that are advancing and that have earned their spot in X Games. So ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for 3rd place coming out of Japan, Kokona Henake, just 10 years young. She'll be the youngest competitor, and she'll be heading to finals. In 2nd, coming out of Australia, Poppy Star Olson. And your winner from Heat 2 heading into finals. Let's hear it for Sugu Okamoto. But again, round of applause for all the ladies throwing down out there. Very impressive showing. But there's your top 3. Kokona Haraki in 3rd, Poppy Star Olson in 2nd, and Sugu Okamoto.
Well, congratulations to our entire heat. Let's head down to Craig McMorris.
Masugu, congratulations. You absolutely destroyed that heat. I was wondering, how does it feel to do the absolute biggest air in the entire field today?
この女子のフィールドの中で一番ぶっ飛んだ、ぶっ飛べた感想は？
嬉しい。
Stoked.
He's stoked. And at any point today, at any point today, did you think, hey, I just want to qualify for X Games, or were you going for that #1 spot pretty much the entirety of the event?
今回の予選でX ゲームズに出れることが目標だったのか、1位取ってやるぞという気持ちがあったのか、そこら辺はどういうふうですか？
優勝したいとかそういうのは何もなくて、出れて嬉しいでした。
She's just stoked to be here.
Well, there you have it, guys. She's stoked to be here. We're stoked to be here. Back to the booth, guys.
Thank you, Craig. What a moment for Sugu Okamoto and all of women's skateboarding park out here on display. It's in such a good place right now. Wouldn't you agree, Lindsay?
Yeah, it's just the progression is so exciting to watch. It's just, and there's just so many girls coming up in the world of skateboarding. And for me, you know, coming from that world and not having that many skating when I was competing, it's just heartwarming to see the community of women's.
Well, I would hope that it would make you smile because you really pioneered this. Like you said, when you were getting started, there was no women's skateboarding at the X Games.
Yeah.
And you were part of the lead that changed all of that. Poppy Star Olson, there you see, she's qualifying to X Games Minneapolis at 19 years old. She's now a veteran in this field. Let's hear Poppy, in her own words, reflect on what it means to be an X Games skateboarder. You know what, we're actually, before we get to that, let's look back at how we got here from our top-ranked qualifier. And Lindsay, as we said, this was amazing to see because
Varial.
we hadn't seen her before out here.
No,
We'd never seen her at Rhodes Skatepark, and this looked like this was a sesh at her local park
Yeah,
for her.
it's amazing that she hadn't skated this park before this year. She came in out of nowhere and is showing us the potential and the future of women's skating.
Yeah, she left no doubt about it on that first run and gets into X Games Minneapolis. And of course, the final. We teased you with it before, but Poppy Star Olson, you're gonna check out this feature. As we said, so thoughtful on and off the skateboard. Here's Poppy in her own words.
I've done a lot of competitions and they call me a veteran now, so I guess maybe. The girls are so young now that are competing, so I guess I'm one of the older ones. I don't really think of myself as one because I still love competing, hanging out there. The age of the girls is getting younger and younger and better and better. So when I grew up, I was the only girl at my skate park for 3 years, and I just had a lot of older guys, so it's really, I remember whenever I saw a girl, it was really cool, so I just having a positive impact on the younger girls. Every competition I come to is really awesome just because I see all my friends, some of my best friends, and we all hang out, have a good time, and then enjoy skating at the same time. I guess Masugu's kind of come out of nowhere. I've seen her at one other competition and she's just killing it, skating so well, a whole nother level, which is really good. I really want to make it back to X Games. It's one of my favorite events. I get to see so many other girls skating. More and more girls are getting into it because they see other girls doing it, and believing in themselves more.
Well, Poppy, not just one of the best skateboarders on the planet, but just a terrific role model and ambassador for the sport.
Absolutely, and as she was saying, a lot of girls will go to skate parks and it can be years before they even see another skater. So the way that X Games and ESPN has brought it more mainstream is probably inspiring so many girls who never even knew that other girls could skate. And it's just making a big difference in women's skateboarding.
So Poppy Star Olson heading back to X Games Minneapolis, but she's not alone. There you see. They're going to be joining Brighton Zoyner and Sakura Yasuzumi, who were part of our podium last year. Those are our 6 names. And Brighton Zoyner, let's face it, she's the one with the target on her back. She won this qualifier event 2 years ago, and really there's been no looking back for her. We've talked about her being the future of women's skateboarding. She's really the now.
Yeah.
But after watching some of these girls, especially Masugu, I feel like Brighton's got her work cut out for her.
There might be a new now.
Right, yeah, well said. So we're just getting started here because we've got a final set to go. What a treat. Heat 1, Heat 2 in the books, but we're only halfway done. Our final format, of course, another 18-minute jam. Each of the 6 ladies will be able to put it down and see who will reign supreme, who will be our official top-ranked qualifier heading into X Games Minneapolis. Because there's also something to be said for that, right? All 6 of our competitors, they're moving on to X Games Minneapolis. That's amazing. But there is some pride with being that top-ranked qualifier.
Absolutely, and then you come into that going, okay, I placed above these girls before. Now I just have the previous podium and the wild cards.
Right. And let's not get ahead of ourselves. The cash for being the top-ranked qualifier, not too shabby either.
Right, and it's, you know, it's a lot of travel, and you know, it costs money to fly places and stay places and eat pizza, and, you know.
Here's our official start list for the final. Cody leading things off, followed by Bryce Wetstein, Kokono Hirako, Poppy Star Olson, Kiana Ogawa, and Misugu Okamoto will be the last to drop in. So our finals list is set. Those 6 punching their tickets to X Games Minneapolis. We're getting ready to clear the course and get this thing going. Again, I also do want to highlight some of the names that obviously didn't make it into this top 6. It was a tough one because there was some really well-rounding skating from both heats. You know, I don't want to say there are any surprises because I think everyone was deserving, but there were certainly some names there that could have very easily been on this list.
Yeah, I agree.
So here's Cody Tamanaha kicking things off here in the final.
Oh. Yeah, you know, I noticed that a lot of the girls might have even forgot that there was a final happening. Some of them took their pads off.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you know, they don't have to, in
Right,
a sense,
technically,
right?
they make it to Minneapolis no matter what.
But the way each of these 6 competitors have been skating this bowl today, I think they want to continue to get their stoke on.
Yeah, and I believe that they're going to step it up. So I quickly did the math, and the average age of this final is 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she did it without a calculator, folks. I saw her freehand literally do the addition, do the division, all with a pen and paper. Very impressive. Bryce Wetstein, she earned her very first X Games berth. She is so excited. An emotional interview with our own Craig McMorris. What can she do here in the final?
Oh, I like that she put that 50-50 to fakie earlier in her run. Comes in backwards, spins around 360 onto her truck there. She's definitely switching it up. And I think the judges want to see that. Ooh.
Just like the previous heat formats, 18-minute jam. Each of the skaters getting 40-second runs in here. And they have no idea what the leaderboard looks like until it's all said and done. Kokono Hiraki, our youngest competitor in the field, just 10 years old.
She's got all the good and styly and properly done lip tricks. Oh my gosh, that nose grind, it's just so rad. Frontside and then backside. She has all of that, but she's really been focusing, it seems like, on her airs and adding those to her runs to be more diverse in her skating. Oh, getting that kick flip over the hip. Very well-rounded runs.
And this is a lot of skateboarding
Backside
for these
nose grind.
ladies over the last 48 hours, Lindsay. Remember, they had to earn their ways just to get into heat 1 or 2 today via yesterday.
Yeah, it is.
Runs in the heats and now runs here in the final.
It's a lot of skating. And there's more and more contests like that where there's so many girls, so they have to go through a process
Right, it wasn't
to
always
make
like
it to
that.
finals. It used to be like, all right, well, these are the best girls, so they're just in.
Poppy Star Olson.
Powering her way through this course. Feeble through the corner, over that love seat.
Poppy is the lone competitor in this field with an X Games medal, a bronze she earned 2 years ago.
Stepping off that lip slide. You can tell that some of the girls from that second heat, they haven't had a lot of time to recover. And so it took a toll on them. But at least they've made it to Minneapolis, right?
Kihana Ogawa.
Just trying to get to her starting point.
I love it. The wave farewell as she drops in. It's got to be somewhat counterintuitive, Lindsay, because you're competing in a final right now, but all of these girls just heard their names announced getting into X Games Minneapolis, most of them for the first time.
Right.
So on one hand, the pressure is completely off, but it's human nature to want to do your best when you see that word final.
Totally. That backside blunt slide was super rad. Oh, she just added that new trick, kickflip to rock, and that's no one else is doing that yet in this one. So she's definitely here to step up her score and go for gold in this particular fight.
Well, that's what we want to see. Sugu Okamoto. So she was our top-ranked qualifier at 13 years old.
The way she takes her foot off and then lands her tail back on the coping in that previous trick.
And I don't mean to be redundant here, but again, at 4'7", a hair under 80 pounds, it's just remarkable how she's able to build up such tremendous speed.
Yeah, she just has an incredible technique, and she uses the transition to continue keeping up her speed and her height in all of her tricks. There's that big varial.
And she might be in the running, I know it's early, for my favorite sideline interview of the year.
Yeah.
She doesn't speak English, but she is stoked to be here. So right back to the top of the list, here's Cody Tamanaha for her second run.
Wow, that feeble through the corner and then coming in backwards. She did that body varial, leaving her board in its place, but switching her body around, then coming backwards and switching her board around while keeping her body in place. Didn't quite hang on to it, but it's a really cool combo. Definitely stepping up her game.
Bryce Wedstein.
Tweaking out that backside air, looked like she pushed it a little higher than the rest of her run, so stepping things up a little bit.
Really neat to see Bryce earn her very first X Games invite. She's really good friends with Poppy Star Olson. You saw them share a moment there together right before the final.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, you get to skate with your friends.
Exactly, and that's what that makes all this crazy travel and all these contests even better, is to be able to share it all with your friends.
Kokona Hiraki. What can the 10-year-old do here on her second run?
Wow. Off of that quarter pipe up into a back lip slide. Blindly throwing your back truck over. She's definitely got style beyond her years. Oh yeah, there's that nose grind saw, that.
Whoa!
Wow, frontside nose blunt. Oh, getting the kickflip back lip, stepping off a tiny bit, but she's just showing a lot of technical tricks here that not even a lot of the guys do. Up into that nose grind, popping in, into the nose blunt, popping back in. It's just something about landing on your nose like that that's so much harder to pop in than if you were landing on your tail.
There's Poppy Star Olson. We're under 10 minutes here in our final.
Oh, stepping off that lip slide.
So Poppy's run ends prematurely. We move on to Kiana Ogawa, who had a really nice previous run.
She's got such a beautiful Smith grind. Just such textbook tricks.
Kiana, of course, mentored by Christian Hosoi, who really discovered her, put her on the map, is her board sponsor now.
Getting that frontside kickflip in every run, sliding her tail on that frontside tail slide. Beautiful 5-0 to fakie. Oh, going for a backside kickflip over the hip there. Opposite direction of her frontside kickflip she's been consistently doing.
Sugu Okamoto, our top-ranked qualifier, one of our 3 Japanese skateboarders in the field.
Throwing that McTwist as her first trick. It's just something like that McTwist is so risky because you're spinning around 540 degrees. She's basically upside down and she's blasting it higher than even some of the, you know, standard airs that the other girls are doing.
Right, that's a really good point. And it's just crazy to see how quickly that trick is, I don't want to, dare I say, commonplace, but the confidence in it, you know, obviously we can look back to what you did with that trick and certainly Saber Norris last year, but she just makes it all her own.
She does, and she's so consistent with it. There it is again, spinning all the way around. And she lands high and she gets speed out of it. A lot of times when somebody's first learned that trick, they land really low and they have to squat out of it, and then they barely have speed for the next trick. But she is incredible in the way she does it.
Cody Naminaha.
Switching her body around. Let's see if she can get that fakie shove it. She does it. Starting with the body varial into the board varial. Huge frontside air. Tucking her knee, getting the style in there. Feebling on that curb to backside lip slide, sliding it super far. She's putting together a really good run here.
And a look in at our leaderboard currently. Sugu, Kokono, and Kiana.
Oh, Bryce is coming in backwards here. A little backwards pop over the hip before she fakie 360 lip slides onto that bank. Getting more technical and more creative.
So as you see with that leaderboard, it is a Japanese takeover right now, 1, 2, and 3. Will it stay that way here in the final?
Bryce is our lone U.S. finalist, huh?
Bryce and Cody.
Oh yeah, jeez.
It's Hawaii. Sometimes we make that mistake. So Bryce Wettstein should hopefully get one more crack at it. Kokono Hiraki sitting in that second place spot. Our youngest skateboarder.
Oh, that
out here
back
today.
flip. Love it. That frontside air disaster is so scary to come up out of the quarter pipe and land on your board like that. There it is. Making it, see if she gets the combo, the nose blunt. So technical and stylish. pushing up her line a little, but not hanging on.
She did take third at Dew Tour just a couple weeks ago. So she's got a taste for those podium finishes. So here's Poppy Star Olson on her third run.
Oh, taking her foot off on that invert. One-footed invert. That
so savvy.
Is the one that I've never seen any other girl do. Coming in backwards again. Oh, missing that fakey 360. Mute. Oh, you see that? She popped it off really far, too. Grabbing tucky on her invert, bringing all the style.
That fills up the style points box real quick. Kiana Ogawa, as you see, she's clinging to that third spot. Will she stay there? What more can she do?
Even just getting into that backside tail stall is so hard. Your body is blind turning up into it.
So here's Misugu.
Wow, doing that McTwist again.
3 for 3. Did the judges reward her for attempting that to start the run?
You definitely, it makes a better impression on the judges if you're doing some of your hardest tricks in the beginning like that, because it's riskier.
Right.
It's your most risky trick.
It could jeopardize the rest of the
fall
run.
on it, it jeopardizes your whole run, and you miss the opportunity to do the rest of your run. So I definitely believe that's something that they take note of when she's doing. I mean, she does the McTwist and the board varial in her first 3 tricks, and those are 2 of the gnarliest tricks that she does.
Just to see the air she gets, how high she gets above the lip, really impressive. I cannot wait to see her skate the park course at US Bank Stadium.
A lot of times the courses at the the real X Games have some deeper spots than here, and because she's such a great bird skater, it's really going to help her shine.
So it's final run time here. As you can see, Misugu, Kokono, and Kiana are in your top 3. Rounding out with Bryce, Cody, and Poppy Star Olson. So here's Cody. She's sitting in that 5th spot. Can she move up into the top 3 possibly?
And although our 18 minutes is almost up, she's our first skater, so she started another round, and all the skaters will get another round. Getting that combination again of the body varial, which means her board stays in place and she spins her body, into the fakie, which is backwards. Board varial, her body stays the same and her board spins around. That's just sick to see her get that combo twice.
So here's Bryce Wetstein's last attempt here at Rhodes Skate Park. Thought about something.
Oh no. So you'll see quite a few of those girls do that. It's called a lean to tail. And it's risky because if you miss your tail and you hang your wheels up like she did, you slam to the bottom.
Yeah, that's not good feeling for your shoulder, for sure. Kokono Hiraki. So much poise for the 10-year-old who charges.
Textbook Smith grind. I mean, I want to grow up and do Smith grinds like her one day. Oh, pushing that nose grind into a lip was great combo, adding a little more to what she's already done in her previous runs. Oh, missing it. I felt like she was just going to do it, just jump back in anyway.
So Kakono's day is done. She was sitting in second place, as you saw on the leaderboard. Super impressive. Poppy Star Olson heading back to X Games Minneapolis. This is her last attempt of the day.
Oh, there's that invert 1 foot again. I love it. So tricky to get your foot off and back on while upside down, while balancing with one hand on the coping of a big ramp. Coming in backwards, spinning around 360, continuing forward. That fast plant. Oh, hanging on to that varial again. I just love the surprise in her face. It almost surprises her that she made it. She is shot. I mean, that back-to-back heats is brutal.
Yeah, really demanding day for all of our skateboarders. Kiana Ogawa. Now drops in. And on top of all the skating, I just got a temp check. We're looking at 87 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's hot.
Yeah. And you'll see some of the girls in long sleeves because the shade is definitely cooler, but it could be one of those things that you started the contest in them and you just gotta keep them on.
Sugu Okamoto. Whoa! I know it's coming, and every time it takes my breath away, Lindsay.
Every time it's exciting. Yeah, even higher. She's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna take this run to blast everything and go higher and higher.
Oh, man. Wouldn't be bad to get a height meter out here.
Right?
When Sugu hits this course.
That nose blunt slide is so difficult because you're flying out, and landing on your nose.
Right.
And usually you are on your tail, so it's like upside down, and then popping back in, making sure your whole board pops back in without hanging your back truck up.
And what's tremendous about that is that, for all intents and purposes, was more than likely a victory lap for her.
Yeah.
But it was also somewhat of a preview of what's to come in Mini, putting that vert prowess on display. Because I don't know if anybody is going to match her when it comes to airs at US Bank Stadium. So here's a look at some highlights from our final. All of the ladies coming correct. Really excited to see how the judges score this one when it's all said and done.
All these technical tricks is just so fun to see. Flipping their boards, spinning their boards. Nose grind, blunts, all of it. Nose blunt, everything. I don't know.
Yeah,
my head is spinning. I'm just very excited to see the progression.
It really was pick your flavor out here in the final. We saw a little bit of everything. Oh, we were having a dab off. We are having a dab off here in Boise. So many different styles on display in this six-lady final. While we wait to hear the judges' scores, Craig McMorris, if you can hear us, Craig, it seemed like Sugu Okamoto became a household name very quickly out here at Rhodes Skatepark.
That poor bull section got absolutely assaulted. I'm sorry, that was just ridiculous how big she was going. Linz, I got a question for you. What do they have going on in Japan? Is it a secret training facility? Is it diet? What is going on?
It must be underground because these girls came out of nowhere and they came in like a wrecking ball. And just,
that was a great Katy Perry reference, by the way.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep going.
It's actually Miley Cyrus, Craig.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you want Katy.
All right, well, let's find out how they finished. Let's head down to PA announcer DC.
All right, it is time for our award ceremony out here for our women. So again, one more time, round of applause for all our finalists and all the women thrown down out here. And for your 6 finalists, your top 6 in 6th place. Put your hands together for Poppy Star Olson. And again, thanks to Jack Matrani handing out those license plates, ticket to X Games. In 5th place, out of Hawaii, let's give it up for Cody Tamanaha. Getting her ticket. We'll see you in Minneapolis, Cody. And in 4th place, out of Encinitas, Bryce Wetstein. She'll be making her X Games debut as well. And your top 3, your podium out here for the Road X Games Boise Park Qualifier. In 3rd place, Kihana Ogawa. And in 2nd place, Kokona Haraki. And Kokona making her debut next month at X Games. And your champion out here for the 2019 Road to X Games here in Boise, Idaho, from Japan, Sugu Okamoto! Omedetou gozaimasu to our top 3, a Japan sweep.
What a tremendous moment for all of the ladies. But as our own Craig McMorris said, it's very real, the Japanese takeover. I mean, Japan finishes 1, 2, and 3. That was really amazing to see.
So they were actually coming here and sessioning at 6 a.m. They were having practices.
Wow. Well, let's head back down to Craig McMorris, who I believe is with Poppy Star Olson.
But Poppy, fatigue wasn't a factor. I mean, you did practice, then you were in Heat 2, then you jumped into the finals. It's hot out here. Talk to me.
Yeah, my legs were basically asleep, but I don't know, I was just so excited about going into the qualifier, and then I didn't even know that I'd make it up against all these girls, and then I was like, oh my goodness, I made it. And then I de-padded, took all my pads off and everything, and then found out there was a final, so like 1st run in, but it was so much fun.
So you're tossed right into the washing machine in the final one. Now I want to talk to you about something. The future of women's skate park. The level of riding today was insane. How do you feel about this sport moving forward?
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, all the girls are progressing so much. I'm so proud of Bryce. It's her first X Games. It's so great. I love you so much. But yeah, all the girls did so good. It was just a really fun contest and really good vibes, yeah.
Bryce is right beside me. There's a good energy here, guys. There's a great energy. I'm going to send it back up to the booth. Thanks, guys, so much.
Yes, Craig, thank you. It is a palpable one. What a moment. And I think that embrace says it all. That's what the Road to X Games qualifier here in Boise is all about. So what a showing again for Sugu Okamoto, our top-ranked qualifier. The first time we've seen her out here on this stage, and she left no doubt about it, Lindsay.
She's just so cute and so pumped to be here. It's awesome.
That'll be kicking off competition at 4:30 for the men.
So what a day for women's skateboarding. One of the best park events we've ever seen, and this was just the qualifier to get to X Games Minneapolis. For Craig McMorris, Lindsay Adams, Hawkins Pastrana, I am Brandon Graham saying thank you so much for watching, and congratulations to all our field. We'll see you at X Games Minneapolis.